In Brazil, the story of a tall, skinny woman haunts families. According to the story, the woman creeps along the rooftops of homes and watches the families inside. She watches them as they eat their dinner and then waits for one of them to go to sleep. She then sneaks into the bedroom of the victim and sits on their chest so they cannot move. As the victim wakes up, they find that the weight on the skinny woman on their chest is actually stopping them from breathing. The skinny woman watches the victim helpless, trapped, and unable to call for help as they suffocate to death. The ghost of a woman looking for her dead daughter allegedly haunts New York. According to the legend, the woman's daughter was murdered by one of her boyfriends, who hid the body where she would never be found. The girl's mother, heartbroken by the death of her daughter, died shortly after. Now her spirit roams the area of Rochester, New York, and while she is commonly benign or harmless, some stories suggest she will attack men who look like her daughter's boyfriend. Probably the most famous ghost story in the world, Bloody Mary tells the story of a woman who suffered a tragic fate. Mary, although her last name is unknown, was allegedly killed by a man who loved her right in front of her bathroom mirror. Her spirit was restless and unable to find peace. She now wanders from place to place through reflective surfaces. She can be called by saying her name in the mirror 3 times. However, what she does to you when you call her changes depending on who you ask. Some simply say that she will show you the future or your future partner, while others say that Mary may disfigure or even brutally kill you. If you hear the sounds of rats or mice in your home, you may have a Kiki Mora living with you. The Kiki Mora is a female house spirit that invades your home through the keyhole and that lives behind your stove. This creature is known to make the sounds of rats and mice in order to get people to believe that everything is normal while it steals their food. While normally the spirit is benign and doesn't cause harm to the family it lives with, there have been cases where it's been known to sit on the chests of children and strangle them. Usually, when someone wants a family to abandon their home, they put a kikimora in it in order to scare the family into leaving. Nantuck's Lane in Rotherfield is allegedly haunted by the spirit of a woman who did something terrible. In the 17th century, the woman poisoned a man to death. However, she wasn't very stealthy about it, and the crime was quickly detected by law enforcement. She evaded the police for several days, but was eventually forced to run into the forest, after which she was never seen again. According to local legends, she died in the forest, and the place that she died in, a circular patch of land, was forever cursed to be unfertile, with no vegetation growing on it. The Valley of the Shadow of Death is one of the most haunted roads in the world, and definitely one that you wouldn't want to travel on alone. This road is near the Mojave Desert in California, and it's claimed that a woman was killed here after the car she was traveling in got into a very brutal accident. People who travel the road have allegedly seen her apparition as well as heard noises and screams in the fog. It's even claimed that some of the people who have traveled on this road have disappeared into thin air after seeing the woman. After she learned that the man that she was in love with did not want to be with her, a woman in Mexico named Maria drowned her 2 children in a river. When she came to her senses and realized the terrible thing that she did, she drowned herself as well. Unfortunately, heaven did not want her, and Maria was forced to wander the river where she drowned her children for eternity. Many people claim that they have seen her close to the river crying. The legend has taken on the name La Llorona, or the Wailing Woman. Some people claim that if she finds unattended children, she may take them to the river and drown them, mistaking them for her own children. In 1968, a young South African woman named Marie Charlotte had just become engaged to the love of her life. Everything was going well, and the couple were on a trip to the outskirts of Uniondale in the Karoo. Unfortunately, things were about to turn tragic. Marie was asleep in the back of her fiance's VW Beetle when he lost control of the car in stormy weather. Roughly 20 kilometers from Uniondale, the car rolled, instantly taking Marie's life. However, unlike other cases, where the person who passed away would finally get to find peace, this wasn't what happened to Marie. According to drivers who still use the road, the ghost of Marie can still be seen waiting on the side of the road for her fiancé to pick her up. Although some people have picked the spirit up in their cars, she only stays for a short while before disappearing. The spirit of a vengeful woman, known as Queen Esther, allegedly now haunts a community with the same name. It's believed that a massacre occurred on the land, one ordered by Esther herself after her son was murdered by one of the people who lived there. She was eventually killed by a mob, but not before cursing the land. As early as the 1800s, residents of the community have reported hearing strange screams coming from the forest where she was murdered. Rumors of a young woman weeping in that location was also reported by hunters, who claimed that their weapons didn't work after seeing her. The spirit of a vengeful woman, known as Queen Esther, allegedly now haunts a community with the same name. It's believed that a massacre occurred on the land, one ordered by Esther herself after her son was murdered by one of the people who lived there. She was eventually killed by a mob, but not before cursing the land. As early as the 1800s, residents of the community have reported hearing strange screams coming from the forest where she was murdered. Rumors of a young woman weeping in that location was also reported by hunters, who claimed that their weapons didn't work after seeing her. For decades now, a creepy story has haunted young girls in South Africa. The story of Pinky Pink is the story of a spirit that haunts bathrooms in South African schools. According to the story, if you go to the bathroom alone, you may come across a being dressed in a school uniform but covered in blood. Once you encounter the spirit, there is no escaping it. It will kill you and then take your body to an unknown location. You will never be seen or heard from again. Other variations of the story claim that Pinky Pink will ask you a question, which you will have to answer correctly in order to leave the bathroom alive. While it's unknown if this is a true story or not, history suggests that it may have been inspired by human trafficking. According to local legends in the Durban area, the Higginson Highway is haunted by a young woman named Highway Sheila. The woman was allegedly killed by a speeding driver who did not see her on the road. People who drive on the road have allegedly seen her tortured spirit wandering around. Although some are able to pick her up in their vehicles, she doesn't stay for long before disappearing. Other versions of the legend claim that Highway Sheila waits on the roads, looking for people who are speeding or driving recklessly. She causes them to get into vehicular accidents that kill them, as a form of revenge for her own untimely death. The Greenbrier ghost is the spirit of a woman named Zona who died in 1897. Although the death of the woman was ruled as natural causes, something strange happened during the trial. During the trial, the mother of the dead woman claimed that her daughter's ghost came to her and told her that she was murdered. The mother claimed that her daughter's spirit told her that her husband murdered her. Armed with this information, the lady was able to get her daughter exhumed, and after a 3-hour autopsy, it was revealed that she had actually not died of natural causes and that she was in fact murdered. The killer was sent to prison, and the spirit of the young woman eventually found peace. The story of Minnie Quay is a ghost story from Michigan. According to the story, Minnie fell deeply in love with a sailor. However, her parents forbid the union, with her mother even saying that she would rather see her daughter dead than with him. Eventually, the sailor died at sea, which left Minnie so heartbroken that one night, when she was charged with watching her brother, she left him at home alone, walked to the pier, and jumped off, taking her own life. If you happen to be in Michigan and come across her headstone, locals say that you have to leave something behind, or she will follow you home.